Hey, guess what?
I couldn't possibly.
You couldn't really?
No.
You know me
Okay,
very
no,
well.
I know.
I think you could.
And you just told me I'm going to tell you about my potato bear right before you hit the record button. So
I did say.
So I actually do know what.
Well,
you made a potato bear.
I did. Just to reiterate to the listeners, I'm taking a new clay class. I'm actually not doing wheel throwing right now because the medical issues are making my stomach hurt. So I don't want to be hunched over a wheel, but I did want to work with clay. So I took a class called Ceramic Menagerie, where the focus is making like creatures. Yes, realistic animals, but also if you want to make like a dragon, they'll guide you on making that. So this first class.
So you take the Play-Doh mold and you stuff the Play-Doh in, and then you press the little plunger and it pushes out a potato bear.
Yeah, didn't you know that there's extruders in the shape of potato bears, like specifically? No, this is professional firing clay. It's the
professional firing Play-Doh.
Firing Play-Doh. Smells real bad. Or good, depending on who you ask, I suppose. I think it smells terrible.
What, you think Play-Doh smells terrible?
Yeah.
What about clay itself?
It doesn't really smell. It's just really messy.
Okay.
Like horrendously messy. So here's the thing though. I was making a fox. And then the instructor was like, "That's a great bear." So I was like, yes, thank you. It's a bear. So now it's a potato bear. He's going to be plopped on like a little plot of grass and just appreciating nature, looking all derpy.
You're going to make grass out of fired clay?
Yeah.
I don't think that's possible.
Well,
I'm going to look it up.
Hold my beer. You're going to look it up.
Yeah, it says here you can't do it.
No.
I read it in the wiki.
Oh, well, it must be true.
Yeah. Well, I wish you luck on your potato bear.
Thank you. It's a gift for you.
Oh. I don't know how to. Oh my goodness.
Don't you love him? Don't you love potato bear?
Verklempt. I actually would really like a potato bear, and now I don't know if you're teasing me or not.
Well, you'll just have to stay tuned.
Everybody stay tuned to find out. Oh, wait, we're in the cold open. People can't hear this. Hey everybody, welcome to Save Your Game. I am your host, speaking out of his big old gob. It's Matt Ocamp, and with me, is your gob ready?
It's so ready. I've been born gob ready.
Is your gob charged and armed?
Yes.
All right, well then let's let it loose. It's pushing up roses.
Hi.
All right, I don't
What's
know
up?
if that. Okay.
What?
I don't know if hi is the sound of an armed gob.
I was charging it for like overnight. I charged it overnight.
You did that thing where you kind of like overcharge. Now it doesn't hold a battery charge for.
Fuck, I ruined my gob's battery.
You ruined your gob's charger.
What do I do?
You might have to get a new gob.
This is how I am now.
You already did get a new gob. We detailed it step by step on this podcast.
I did, and then I ruined it by overcharging my teeth.
How is it going, pushing up roses?
It's good. I'm very excited about this episode, actually, because as you know, the listeners may not know, as you know, we've been kind of putting this game off a little bit. And not because we don't want to play adventure games, because sometimes longer adventure games, when you're an adult, impedes on your schedule, and it's really hard to make those things match up. And this happens to be a longer adventure game.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we'll talk about it, but I think in a year where a lot of really And I think this game, I will have come to discover this game is very innovative, or this game is doing a lot of very interesting and unique things. But in a year where a lot of really out of the box adventure games are coming fast and furious, sitting down to play what looked like a fairly traditional point and click was not. It just kept feeling like when you have a really good book on your shelf.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, I know I'm going to love that, but I'm just having a hard time picking it up.
Yeah.
And we picked it up. And spoilers for the episode, I think we both really liked it.
Yes. Definitely really liked it. It's one of those things that has kind of a slow start, but sometimes things with slow starts just end up being the best things.
Before we talk about that, though, I do want to say I'm still playing Silksong.
Oh, nice. How's that going?
It's going really well. It's tough.
Yeah.
The one thing I do want to add, I last episode I was saying how I didn't quite understand why rosary beads were a currency. And as I've been playing it more and more, I'm realizing that was a stupid thing to say. Like, I knew from the beginning that this game was about a religious, sort of like a religious cult that, right. And I didn't talk about the story at all because I don't know. I wasn't too attached to the story of the first game of
right.
Hollow Knight. It felt just kind of like one of those flimsy, we need a story for a Metroidvania here. And yeah, if you want to really pay attention and dig into it, I'm sure there was something interesting and worthwhile there, but the story was not why I played Hollow Knight the first. So now, as I'm playing Silksong, I don't think I at first appreciated just how interesting this story is. For one thing, Hollow Knight was a character who didn't talk.
Right.
And Hornet was a boss who did talk. So you're already going into this game knowing Hornet is going to speak. And that means she's going to have a personality. That means she's going to have a perspective on the things that are happening around her. And that has added so much to this game writing-wise.
Yeah, I bet.
Where so the game starts off, she's being kidnapped by some cultists and brought to this world that is clearly being ruled by what seems like a god emperor of sorts, and all these other bugs that you see are on this pilgrimage to get to, again, I'm not far enough in to know that this is true, but what appears to be what seems as if it's going to be some sort of god emperor. All these other bugs are just dying or suffering in their pursuit of this pilgrimage. And you, as Hornet, were kidnapped by these people and managed to, through some weird intervention of fate, break free. And now, despite the fact that everybody you see is like, this place is really dangerous, nobody survives this pilgrimage, everybody undertakes it and we all die.
Right.
Hornet is just like, okay, well, that's fine. I'm going to go there. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because I need to find out who kidnapped me. Like, rather than just leaving, being like, oh, well, okay, well, I escaped, so I should go home. She's like, no, I think I'm going to go confront the person who kidnapped me. And then people are like, okay, but everybody who tries to find this person dies. Or everybody who goes on this pilgrimage dies. And she's like, nah, it's fine. I'm going to find him. And it's just a really strong premise for a character, right?
Yeah.
You instantly feel connected to her. And I did too, but I just kind of like, the gameplay had captured my imagination so much more that it took me slowing down. It took the game slowing down a bit as I started to like get lost. It's a Metroidvania, so you get lost.
Yeah.
You get lost in the big ass map. it took me getting lost and talking to people maybe for a second or third time and thinking about, like, having time to think about the world I was in, to start realizing that this is a cool story, this is a cool world, this is a cool character, and I should have mentioned that when I talked about it on Save Your Game. Also, before we get into the game we're talking about, I want to say just real quick, I haven't played it yet, but Little Problems.
Yes. Oh my god. I need to get on that.
Came out this week.
Oh my god.
Looks very cute. It's not getting the world's best reviews, but I don't think we expected it to, right? It is taking a genre that has thus far been known for its difficulty and puzzle solving and reducing it into something cute and seemingly all ages, right?
Right.
So you could understand that. I think we could have expected some people were going to really grump about this game.
Yeah. No, I could see that.
But as long as it gives me more of what's in the demo, hey, I'm happy with it. For people who didn't hear us talk about this demo, Little Problems is like if the Golden Idol games were about homework, or about who ate the last cookie in the cookie jar.
Right.
Little Problems, solving mysteries and collecting evidence about little problems.
Yeah. I do wonder, like, if people are, even though it is called Little Problems, do wonder if people are just like, they were so taken with Golden Idol that they just want more of that kind of that deep shit, you know?
That deep shit. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking happened.
Yeah. And how are you on Callahan's? How are you getting on with Callahan's? The best game ever.
I didn't finish it.
No, I know. That's why I'm poking at you.
I'm so sorry. I didn't go ahead and finish it.
I will say, and I've kind of made a little bit mention that I think Callahan's is way more about being in the present journey.
Yeah.
The ending is just like, oh, okay.
right.
You know? And like, I know a lot of adventures are like that, but I also think a lot of games do thrive on how it concludes.
Sure.
Just in general, a lot of literary things do, right? And sometimes it just kind of misses the mark. So if you want a good ending, maybe that's not the right game for you.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine, but you know.
I mean, I think I'm going to, I'm still going to, I made it so far. I'm going to see it through.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe next episode I'll just touch on the ending. But if I forget, it's because of that thing you just said. Yeah. I'm not. I don't think it's going to change my experience of the game at all.
For sure. Yeah.
Roses.
Yes.
I can't freaking for the life of me remember. What did we play this week?
We played a lovely little game called Rosewater by our friend of the show, Grundislav Games. Very, very talented game dev. We have finally had a chance to sit and play it after saying we were going to play it for a very long time. And if I may, I think we both liked it a lot.
I know we both liked it a lot. So here's what I want you to do. If you don't mind.
Yes.
Could you please play Khaki Cargarino?
Yes, I will play Khaki Cargarino. That was so weird.
What?
My Google Home in the living room just randomly started playing like battle music, like instrumental battle music. I don't know if it heard me. What did I say?
You did tell me prepare for battle. You did say
yeah.
prepare for battle. Your death will soon be upon you.
Damn, why do I have to say that all the time?
You did say that to me, and so
Okay.
maybe that's what it heard.
And Google's like, I got you. We're
Got
gonna
it.
play some battle music for you. What the fuck
Get
is
him.
this? I totally lost my train of thought. I'm gonna keep this all in.
I was gonna say, I think our little comments about little problems.
Yeah.
I think probably should have been part of the discussion.
Whoops.
Like, I was thinking about it after we said it. It was like,
yeah,
mentioning that it would be a game that I would like to play. I would like to just like have in my pocket for when I went, like, that is something I would have liked to mention about it. And I think what you said about the reviews being,
I mean, they're mostly positive. I want to
reviews,
put that out there.
not quite
the comments.
Comments being just like so regularly and weirdly opposed to cozies.
Yeah.
Is just like a toxic gamer thing.
It can be. I definitely, I want to see what it's like, to see if I feel the same way, if I feel like if it's repetitive, for example.
Sure.
But like I kind of told you, I think people are definitely enamored with, Golden Idol, and they're wanting maybe something a little deeper. But this is cozy to me. Like, even if it's not the most riveting game I've ever played, I still want something that just makes me feel kind of good, Again,
I think people are unfair to cozy games.
They can be, absolutely,
constantly. So that's why I'm sort of not putting a lot of stock in.
Yeah. I mean, I think people are unfair to hidden object games a lot of the time. I think some of them are great.
We did a whole episode talking about that. Didn't
we did. We have problems.
All right. You want to bring us back in?
Yes. I mean, that's all maybe going to be part of it, but we'll see.
That's fine.
Anyway, we got sidetracked by my Google Home playing battle music and Matt wanting to comment more on little problems. But what we're actually going to be speaking about today is it's cozy enough. It's cozy by nature, just because it is a lovely point and click. We're going to be talking about Rosewater, as we mentioned before. And I am so excited because we are both like on our, I'm on my second playthrough and you are on your third?
Yeah, I'm on my third. I don't know that I'm going to finish my third. I think I've learned everything that I wanted to out of this third playthrough.
Yeah.
The only reason I'll do a fourth is just to pick up some achievements, but I don't know that I'll do that. It's interesting. There's a lot of content in this game that you're not going to see on one playthrough.
Right. And I feel like I didn't quite understand that until we kind of spoke very briefly about it on a phone call, and things were happening and I'm like, what? What now?
So just to give an overview, so this is a game released by Grundislav Games, published by Application Systems Heidelberg in March of this year. It is a point-and-click adventure game called Rosewater. It takes place in, or at least starts in, a western, like, frontier town,
right,
called Rosewater. You play a character named Harley Leger, who is a former boxer.
Spitfire Harley,
and a current newspaper reporter who, came here to write for the newspaper in Rosewater. It takes place in the same world as Lamplight City,
right?
Another popular Grundislav game. And the important thing to know about this game is it takes place in what I would call three distinct acts.
Sure.
There is this beginning act where, again, it's focused almost entirely on Harley. Harley Legere, who again, the entire game you're playing Harley. The whole game is focused on Harley, but even more so in this first act, where you are exploring the town of Rosewater and in pursuit of a story on a Wild West showman named Gentleman Jake.
Kind of like you're a Buffalo Bill type, I think we can say, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're supposed to do a story on his Wild West kind of rodeo show. And you, in pursuing that, you come across, you end up like in a bar fight. You end up going through some stuff, and Jake recruits you on a quest to find a Dr. Bennett Clark.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to take it for a minute? Do you want to take it from here?
Yeah, and in Jake's point of view, Dr. Bennett Clark is a scientist / doctor who has disappeared, essentially. Yeah. He had been in Rosewater at one point, and Jake believes that due to his like previous work, which is work in ethericity. Which we'll talk a little bit more about, because there's definitely that plot line.
If you played Lamplight City, ethericity is a big point there too.
Right, it's like a source of energy that this doctor was experimenting with.
Sure.
And, but he's since gone missing, and Jake believes that he has left behind like a fortune. Because Jake is kind of he's a showman. He wants money, and he's kind of roping us into going on this excursion with him to find this stash, like find this fortune that Dr. Bennett Clark has left behind, and they would split it. And then as you are about to pursue this, you actually, it's, you know what it is? It's very almost a little Monkey Islandish, isn't it? Because you have to find your crew. You have to find transportation. It kind of gave me that vibe. I'm not saying it's a 1-to-1.
Sure.
But I was kind of getting that vibe when Jake was like, all right, now you find the transportation and get back to me. And then we acquire a crew. Except that, in Monkey Island, it's all... it's incompetent, right? Everybody in this game is very competent and very smart.
In Monkey Island, it's that sort of point and click situation where it's like, oh, you got to go find 3 things, and in Monkey Island it's find 3 people. In this game, you sort of organically come across your party members.
That's true. It is like more of a vibe.
Yeah, to me, it's almost like assembling a tabletop role-playing game party, like a D&D party in the Wild West. Or I'm sure if I was smarter about tabletop role-playing games, I would know one that did already take place in the Wild West. But yeah, it is. It's a lot like that vibe, and the D&D comparison is one that I'm going to bring up, I think, several times during this discussion.
Yeah. So in meeting Jake, he actually already has somebody on his crew that was in the show with him. His name is Danny, and he's awesome. I love that character. So he's automatically with you in this crew. You also need to find somebody to a navigational guide. And so you find somebody named Lola Johnson. She's kind of this no bullshit type of a character.
Yeah.
A very matter of fact, doesn't seem to be very friendly, but is willing to, take you on your way.
And I'll say she's the only one you really approach as like, we need a person to fulfill this role. Everybody else you encounter organically.
Right. The way you find the other crewmates are basically on these little mini adventures. You find another crewmate named Phil, who is awesome, and I wanted my character to hook up with him the whole time, but she did not. And Nadine, who is somebody you find on an Indian reservation in a tribe, and they both join you. And yeah, I guess we say we meet them organically, but we also, you don't have a choice. I want to make that clear. Like, these are your people.
Phil is a former military general of
right.
A revolution in New Spain.
Yes.
A lot of this, this frontier, this is sort of an alternate history America.
Right.
It seems like. If you think, Spanish-American War, or not even, no, like the Mexican War for Independence, really. He is a sort of freedom fighter in what I believe is like occupied South America, occupied
right.
Mexico, I think.
Right.
And what's called New Spain. And we learn a lot more about these people as we go along. I don't know why I'm trying to give more, but that is an important thing. And it's important to know Nadine Redbird is a person that you already said she's part of an. I don't know. I'm fucking up.
She's not.
You
meet her. You meet her because you meet Nadine because you're being held captive in a separate quest, only to find out that you're not really being held captive. You learn that that a tribe nearby has been being attacked by the people of Rosewater, right? Or was it a different?
There's a fort outside. Okay. we're dancing around this. Might as well just like dig into it. Sure. In order a little bit. You, in seeking out Bennett Clark, you go to his abandoned laboratory out in the, in the plains. Yeah. And you're having trouble getting in, so you go to visit a military fort.
Yeah, for some dynamite. Yeah.
Exactly, to collect some dynamite to blow your way in. While you're there, that's where you meet Phil, General Marquez. And in order to get the dynamite, it's the people in the fort. I can't remember what military rank he holds, but the military people are like, well, we just lost some people on a patrol.
Right.
And we need to go find them. So if you come help us, range and find these, these are missing patrolmen, you can have that dynamite. And while you're traveling, you end up getting ambushed by Native Americans.
Right.
While in captivity, that's where you meet Nadine Redbird, who you find has been staying with this Native American tribe. It's not her people, but she has been staying with them. And you find that they have been the victims of attacks from this general and not General Marquez,
not Philip,
the American military guy, or the Vespuccian military guy. Sorry, that's what the country's called in this game. It's basically, early America, frontier America, and you. Like 1800s America. Right. Mm-hmm. You so then you help them steal supplies back from a military fort, and that's where you find some crates marked Rosewater that don't appear to be going to Rosewater and are full of what they call aurum, but is basically gold.
Right.
And so that's a mystery that then you basically sit on for the next several hours of the game.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I almost forgot that even happened.
And then you get into Bennett Clark's laboratory. While you're digging around, you find a cult of
and
people.
That's where the game starts. That's when it starts getting interesting, I think.
I think it's even a little bit later where I was really, really captured by it. Because, okay, so you have to, through this cult, this ethericity cult who worships Dr. Bennett, you basically have to you're tracking down clues. You have to get information as to where he might have gone.
Right.
You're on the trail to find his treasure.
Yeah.
And yeah, you get a clue that he very likely is in the city of El Presidio, which you'll need a wagon and several weeks of travel to get to.
I mean, Lola, our navigator, she says it's like 9 days, but
okay.
This is an adventure game. You're gonna get like caught up in quests. Yeah. So it does. I do think it does take several weeks in the end.
And so that's when you go find a wagon and you go recruit Lola back in Rosewater. And this to me is the end of Act 1.
Yes.
And Act 2, you get on the road, and this is where the D&D metaphor comes back in, because then basically the Act 2 is all this travel, this on the road montage of little adventures that function a lot like D&D encounters. You're traveling, and then the wagon stops, and there is something outside that you have to deal with.
Yeah. It's also very like Oregon Trail. Or Oregon. Did I say it wrong? Oh,
no, I call it Oregon
be mad
Trail.
At me.
In what way is it? Explain what you mean by it's like Oregon Trail.
It's this vibe of you get a map that you're plotting along at, and you're in this covered wagon. Now, granted, this is more of a steampunk wagon. It is not, it's fueled by. What is it fueled by?
There's no horses. There's an engine.
There's no horses.
We don't see the end. Just
go
with it.
Yeah, it's very steampunk looking. It's fine. And just like in the Oregon Trail, every time you hit like a landmark, you stop and you have to do something. Now, granted, the Oregon Trail didn't have, adventure game quests in it.
Right.
It's not the kind of game that was, right? But you have to make decisions in the Oregon Trail to decide how you cross a river, or if you want to trade with people that you meet with, at certain forts. And so it does kind of give me that vibe a little bit. Every time we're in the wagon, it's like we're traveling, we're getting somewhere. It's on the map. We stop at at like a landmark, and then we've got to make a decision on how to approach. I think on Adventure Game Hotspot, actually, they differentiate all the quests between vignettes and excursions. And then there are things that happen that are also on the main timeline. And you're kind of doing all of these things in Act 2. Yeah.
So, okay. There are two types of encounters that you have while on the road. And do you want to describe not the ones that are specific to characters, but the other kind, the random excursions?
The random excursions? Okay,
sort of your random encounters. Do you want to describe just some? Do you want to, why don't we give some examples?
Sure. So one of the encounters that I remember pretty well is that we are stopped in front of a post office, and there's a mailman out there, and he's like, "The devil is in my post office." This is kind of like a good example of what an encounter is, and he's like, "There's something weird in the post office. I can't go in there. It's definitely the devil. It's definitely possessed." And so, we take it upon ourselves, of course, to go see what's in the post office. And it turns out it's just a wildcat. That's all it is. It's a cute little shadow. Yeah. The wildcat ears look like horns in the shadow.
We find out this guy has been reading. This guy's an incredibly suggestible man, and he's been reading horror stories. And there's a criminal called the demon or the devil or whatever who has been there's a wanted poster for her up so we find out that he's just incredibly susceptible.
He's just
to
very naive
suggestion. Yeah.
And so now that you know what the problem is, then you would go about fixing it. And I feel like, I don't know how you feel, but I feel like these encounters where we find a person, they have a little bit of a problem. The encounters are fairly easy. They're meant to de-escalate a situation.
Sure.
They're a little bit easier on the puzzle side, but what they do is they provide this kind of grand adventure Again, D&D kind of role play type of thing.
For another example, one of my favorites was you come across a castle.
Yes, the
just
castle.
in the middle of the prairie, right? Like in the middle, like outside of a town, a little western town, you encounter a castle and you come out and you find out that it's just this man who's been building a castle from stones that he finds for 7 years to try to woo a woman he hasn't seen for 7 years, who he met at a party once. And has been writing letters to and not getting letters in response.
Yeah, but he's just been building this castle.
Just sort of building her a castle. And he's like, well, when she gets here, she's gonna marry me because I built her a castle.
Yeah, spoiler, no.
Right. So this is you just happen to find him the day that she is visiting.
Right.
The day that she finally arrives. To marry him? Or to let him down. Who knows?
Yeah. And that's another thing where you have to kind of like diffuse the situation. You're not exactly like bonding with your crew on these encounters. You're just like, they're just fun. They're just fun little side quests. It makes it feel like you're traveling and meeting all these interesting characters.
Speaking of bonding with your crew, there is another kind of encounter, which I guess the guide you're referring to calls excursions.
Excursions, yeah.
Which is you will be pulled aside by a specific member of your party and brought on like a tiny little adventure. A good example of this is Nadine will take you hunting for firewood.
Right.
And you just you're sort of wandering around collecting firewood until one of the sticks you go to pick up, a coyote grabs it and runs away. And so now you have to, perhaps with Nadine's help, perhaps without, try and get the firewood away from this coyote.
Right. It becomes, a little bit of an adventure game puzzle, right?
Yeah. And you can sort of choose, same as with the, it's the same as with the wildcat and same as with, you can sort of choose how you handle it. Do you want to use violence?
Right.
Do you want to use trickery? Do you want to just give up? Right? Like there's different the game gives you different options. Is there one that's particularly memorable to you?
For the options, you mean? For the coyote?
No, these excursions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely liked the coyote one. That felt I know I compare everything to everything, but it's just for reference. It's just to give people references. It reminded me so hard of King's Quest V when you're just like farting around the desert when you're trying to find the bandit camp.
Yeah.
It was just giving me that vibe, which means I really liked it. There is an excursion you do with the member named Danny, where he goes for a walk by a river, and one of two things can happen. But the one I liked more is he is contemplating his friend that he has lost, and he's just very down about it and grieving. And so you, as Harley, we decide to help him build a memorial to his friend. And I think you can do, once again, I think you can do different things. Like I chose to do like a memorial rock. I don't know if you can do, I had different options. They're like, you could do it a tree, you can use a rock. I used a rock. Is that what you did?
I used a rock too. Yeah,
I didn't
know you could use other things.
I don't know if you can.
Okay.
When you're speaking to Danny, you can like kind of choose. And maybe he's like, tree, that's stupid. No, maybe we just chose correctly. I was
You're
like,
right.
okay,
Yes.
rock.
Sometimes there is the illusion of choice, and other times there is legitimate choice. And you don't always know what it is unless you save your game and try a bunch of options.
Yeah, I really like that one. And I think the very first excursion that I got was the one with Jake.
Oh, yeah.
And this really gave me an example of what the gameplay was going to be like from here on out with these excursions. And, Jake, he brings you aside. He wants to talk to you. You find yourselves by this pond, and some rando comes up and he's like, hey, you hear about this pond? it's magical. And we're like, the fuck is up with this guy? And he like breaks a pipe and he's like, I'm so strong. Now you drink from the pond because I drank from it, and look at me. Now you drink. And Harley's like, do not drink from that spring.
Yeah.
I'm going to go look around to see if there's anything, any evidence of something else. And so you go around, you find evidence of something else, and turns out, yes, it's a scam. Obviously, it's probably poison. But if you find what you need to find, you can convince Jake that it is a scam, and then you can decide how to deal with the scammer.
Though you do have the option early on. Instead of doing this whole investigation, you can just tell Jake to go drink the...
You can.
Yeah, you just go ahead, drink it. And then, from then, there's like a series of options. You could... the amount of cruel you are to Jake can just increase and increase and increase.
Yeah.
It's pretty harsh. Okay.
And that's important because I didn't quite realize... again, until after we kind of talk about our separate experiences, that there's a friendship mechanic. These excursions are important for your friendships.
So, all right. Yeah. So let's go backwards a little bit and revisit the stuff we were just talking about, because our games were not the same at all.
Correct. I was shocked. I was actually shocked when we briefly spoke about it. I'm like, what do you mean? I didn't get that.
And the more we talked about it, and the more I replayed it, and probably you as well, the more I realized just how different two playthroughs can actually be. So,
yes.
Let's talk first about the random encounters. They're not entirely random. There is, in each spot on your journey, I think there's 2 or 3 encounters that can pop up, and those 2 or 3, until something that I'll talk about much later, those 2 or 3 are entirely random. So
I got a ton actually of the vignettes.
Well, right. What I'm saying is, in each, like, you can't get, for example, there's one. There's a character called Lady Taiki who is reading. Who is a mind reader. Yeah. And you can't meet her as the first encounter, for example. Right.
And actually, in my first playthrough, I never met Lady Taiki.
Interesting. Yeah. So in each slot, there's 4 slots for these random encounters, and in each slot, there's only 2 or 3 options that could pop up. Right. So like in my first playthrough, I didn't see the castle at all.
Yeah, same. I didn't see the castle either. I saw that on my second playthrough.
I met a man named Cormac who was building an oil rig all by himself in the middle of the desert, and runs into some trouble. Yeah. Yeah, it's wild just that there's so many of these encounters that the postman is one that in my second playthrough I didn't encounter.
Oh, okay. I encountered him both times. And also, speaking of the randomization, I didn't even realize until, because I also watched a few people's Let's Plays to see what their random, like what they were being generated. Yeah. I feel like I didn't realize that the settings are also randomized. So you can see the post office in either like a lush forest or maybe in the prairie, or it's very interesting.
That is interesting. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they're in different settings sometimes. I think it's the tarot card reader, Madame Taiki, she can be in a forest, or again, she can be maybe in a deserty area. It's so cool, honestly.
That's interesting. Yeah, because your path does lead you from like desert, prairie to forest. Right. And that makes a lot of sense. You wouldn't have an oil rig in the middle of the forest, right? Right. So the oil rig would have to be in the first half. That castle wouldn't make sense in the forest, so it has to be in the first half. And there's one where a man is making moving pictures. And I got
that in my first playthrough.
And he's, the thing that he's filming when you meet him is like a beautiful mountains and
Mhm.
lake. He would
Right.
not be. It wouldn't make sense if he was just filming some random, some random empty prairie. So it makes sense that there are some that are only in only in some of the later slots, and some that are only in the earlier slots,
Right.
and some that can be in both. That's really interesting. I didn't know that.
And these encounters are not, simple things. So that being said, they're not like short, super short things. So that being said, it does make replay value pretty high to me, because there are differences in these gameplays, that they're not minor differences,
Absolutely. So not only could you have completely different encounters, or they could be in different orders or in different places, you can also handle them entirely differently.
Correct.
And we'll get into this a little more, but based on some decisions that you've made in the past, you might have different options.
Right.
There might be things that you legitimately just don't have the option to do because you didn't do something earlier. Now, on that front, there is a friendship mechanic with each player. I had
no idea that was even happening in the background. There's no clue whatsoever.
Me neither. Until way later, until I found out. I don't even know. I never got stuck in this game, so I don't know what made me pull up a guide. I think maybe I just started to get a feeling that some of this was choice-based.
Right.
Well, I mean, I knew it was choice-based because I knew I was making choices, but that some of those choices have trickle down.
Yeah.
And maybe it was just going between seeing achievements pop up and playing the game. That could be.
I have my achievements turned off, so I wasn't even until you told me that there are different, excursions based on your friendship level with people. I had no idea, and that inspired me to pick it back up to see what changed. And it's so fun. It's so fun to see what changes. So
this is what I was building to. Yeah. One of the things is, depending on how high your friendship or low your friendship is with people, each character has a different excursion. So if you have low friendship with Jake, you get the excursion by the lake.
Yeah.
With where you can where somebody's trying to poison you. If you have high friendship with Jake, you have an entirely different thing you go and do.
Right.
It's at the same point in the game, and it starts the exact same way. It's like, hey, Harley, can I go talk to you for a sec? And then, he says to Lola, we're going to go walk into town for a second.
Right.
And in one, you guys walk to a lake. In another, you walk into a town, and something completely different and a lot more personal to Jake happens.
Right.
The encounter you were talking about with Danny.
Yeah.
Where he confides in you about his lost friend. That is when you have high friendship with Danny. If you have low friendship with Danny, you come across a random kid in a tree and he falls into the river. Danny jumps in to save him, and now your puzzle is, how do you save him?
Right.
How do you save him and Danny?
Yeah.
Now, all right. Okay. There's some really, I did a playthrough where I tried to do everything perfectly.
Yeah.
And get the highest friendships with everybody you can. And that had some interesting things. And then I did a playthrough where I did the worst things possible at every turn. And that had some interesting things, but I don't want to spoil too much. So we'll talk about that at the end.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you some interesting things about some of these encounters. So what are some of the... Do you have another example of like the difference between a high and a low?
Danny's was the biggest one to me in my second playthrough.
Oh, okay. All right. That was the biggest change.
His was definitely the biggest change. I was really trying to get other things, but like I said, it do take some experimentation, which is nice because it makes the replayability really nice.
Yeah.
I was trying to get a better one with Nadine, but I ended up getting, the coyote quest both times.
Nadine is the hardest one that I found.
Yeah.
Jake, you just have to stroke his ego a lot.
You just have to stroke his ego. That's
you
true.
Can't ever contradict him when you see him lying to people. And Phil, you just have to drink with him,
which I've been doing. I've not hit it yet. I've not gotten in my second playthrough to Phil's excursion, but I am drinking so much mezcal with Phil. I'm telling him jokes. Like, this is gonna work.
The jokes can go either way depending on where your friendship already is with him. If your friendship is already fairly high, they can make him like you more. If your friendship is already fairly low, they can make him like you less. But there's one event with Phil incredibly early on that, depending on how you handle it, whether you handle it like a human or whether you handle it like a monster, your friendship with Phil starts off on a
I know
good or
what you're
bad
talking
foot.
About. Yes, absolutely.
With Nadine, though, I think is the hardest because you have to. Her encounter is early enough on, and there's not that many opportunities to get her to like you. And whereas with Jake, you have an opportunity to stroke his ego constantly. With Danny, whose encounter is also early, you have an opportunity to be nice to Danny often. With Nadine, what you need to do with her is just be as kind-hearted and pure in your intentions as possible. And you don't have a ton of opportunities to do that before her excursion.
Right.
So I had thought that I failed in my high friendship playthrough, trying to get a perfect run. And then thankfully I must have at the last second got her final point.
Nice.
Because, and I'll tell you how I know that again later. I don't want to give anything.
I feel like we're just overwhelming people with all the content, but there's so much.
There's so much in this game. That's what's cool about it.
There's a lot. There's a lot of different mechanics, a lot of different content and stories. It's great.
You don't have to know any of this either.
Yeah.
That's another thing. If you are feeling overwhelmed and like, whoa, this game seems like a lot, you don't have to know this. You go through Act 1, and it is just a very, the game feels linear no matter what. So you go through Act 1, and you're just, again, learning your goal and assembling your party and, going through a few little adventures. And then you're on the road, and you're just seeing a bunch of encounters. You don't have to care at all about you could just make your decisions and pick your dialogue choices and solve your puzzles as you see fit, and the game's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It might be a little different, but it's going to be fun.
There's not a bad, quote unquote, bad ending.
Right.
There's and none of these excursions are bad. They're all neutral and good, is better, how I would say.
Yeah.
Like good. Yeah, there you go. Good and better. Yeah. So like the poisoned lake excursion is great.
Yeah.
There's just another one that is also interesting. The first ending I got.
So interesting. Go ahead. Sorry.
The first ending I got of the entire game was good.
Yeah.
Later on, I got a better one, and it's not. And I'm not in any way. I don't in any way look back on my first ending and think like, ugh. Like, they were both great.
But it does, and we say this because I think a lot of people would be more prone to enjoying vastly different like outcomes and endings. Yeah. But I really do think since the encounters and the excursions are a little bit more involved, that it's different enough to get a good replay from. Yeah. Unlike, I'm going to throw an example, and we did replay this game a lot, which is Dreams in the Witch House. One of my biggest criticisms of that game was you almost need to experiment with replaying it
Yeah.
But it's so much of the same. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
it's not changing enough for me to really want to replay it. But this game did. This game changed enough to where I wanted to replay it.
And I think one of the things about Dreams in the Witch House that is different than this one is Dreams in the Witch House, there were, 100 bad endings and one good one.
Yeah. It's kind of deflating, you know?
And it's just like, what level of bad is it?
Yeah.
Is it that you starve to death in your room before you solve the adventure?
Yeah.
Or is it that at the end, the devil, like, you get to the very end and the devil claims your soul? Like, what level of bad ending do you want?
So they're almost kind of similar, right? Except for Dreams in the Witch House is either bad or worse, and this is either good or better. You know what I mean?
And there's one very, very, very slim, there's one very narrow pathway in Dreams of the Witch House where you're like, that was good. I'm glad with it. I'm happy with this.
Yeah.
So like you said, as you go through this Act 2, there's also a main path. There's some missions that always happen. Do you want to just give like one quick example of that?
I'll give my favorite one.
Sure.
There's one where we encounter kind of this, we get into a dust storm and we have to pull over. We find this house and it's inhabited by a captain, an old sea captain named Captain Boylan. Mm-hmm. And he seems just, very lonely, and he seems really happy to have like our crew there. We have dinner, we make dinner together, we have dinner, we tell stories. It's really great. We drink later.
Yeah.
And then it kind of takes a turn after the captain goes to bed, because it turns out that he's actually suffering from PTSD from one of his one of his excursions. Yeah. And so now it gets a little serious, right? Like we have to what?
I said, yeah, poor guy.
It's so sad, honestly.
You find him collapsed in a secret room, like
so sad,
like moaning about some horrible nightmare he's trapped in.
It's so sad. Poor captain. But we all come together and we decide to help him with his PTSD. Nadine is a healer and wants to study medicine. And so she comes up with this idea, and it becomes an adventure game puzzle, because of course it does.
Of course.
Where, we have to learn who was on his crew. We have to learn things about them, by just going through the house. It's kind of like a mystery that needs to be solved in that particular storyline. And I just really loved that one. I loved that one. I wanted to help. I wanted to help this captain so much.
One of the main story ones that comes towards the end is you find another cult. And it's it's like a Christian cult, sort of. They don't mention Christianity. Well, maybe they do.
They don't. No, they don't. It's just God.
It's God. Well, no, there's a picture of Jesus in the one cabin.
Oh, and there is a cross, though.
And there's crosses, So it is a Christian cult.
We can assume it's Christian,
And I'm not going to give away, since this is late enough in the game and it's enough of like a mystery, I'm not going to give away too much about it. But I did want to bring it up because Roses, there's two important things about this encounter. Number one, Matt and Roses are in the background.
Wait, what? I missed it.
There are two characters that are based around me and you, and we're in the background of one of the scenes with the cult.
Oh my god! I need to go look at it. Right, do continue.
And if you listen real closely, when the whole cult says "Amen," you might be able to hear a little Matt Allcamp voice.
Aw, Matt, you're in a video game.
So, this is number one. Number two, other important thing. There's a loose crank!
There's a loose crank, and they call it a loose crank.
There's a loose crank. They've got a loose crank. Listen, you guys know that Grundislav Francisco Gonzalez has been on this podcast twice, listens to this podcast, I think, at least occasionally.
Yep.
He had to know.
He had to know.
He had to know. He wasn't just going to put a loose crank in his game without thinking of us.
I would like to think that loose crank is dedicated to us.
It's a tribute to us. The Matt and Rose's I was going to say memorial. What's the thing when you're still alive?
He died. It's a memorial.
It's the thing when you're... Yeah, it's the Matt and Rose's memorial loose crank. Okay. So that's Act 2.
Right.
Act 2 ends in something wild that I'm not going to tell anybody about because fuck.
Yeah,
we will have to get in
insane.
We will have to get into it when we start getting into a deeper spoiler part of this episode, but Act 3, obviously you arrive in El Presidio. And it has a little bit of that thing that we've talked about before, which is this idea of in a point-and-click game, sometimes you arrive at a new location, and that location feels big and expansive, even if the locations are limited and what you do in each location is limited. You arrive in this new big area, and it can feel overwhelming. And this is a thing that will make me put down adventure games, not forever,
right.
But it'll make me save my game and turn it off and say, I'll deal with it tomorrow. And it might be a week of tomorrows, a week's worth of tomorrows before I pick it back up. Sometimes it might be a month, depends on how much I liked the game. In this instance, it was only a few days, because I liked that Act 2 so much.
I did too. Yeah, I really did. I really liked Act 2. And it's interesting because El Presidio is where we're meant to be going. That's that you're supposed to be eager to see where this is going, but you have such a fun kind of grand time in Act 2. You get to your destination, you're like, is it over?
And El Presidio, and it's a little deflating. El Presidio is a great location. There's a lot of cool stuff there. There's some cool characters. There's cool puzzles. There's cool adventures and decision points. It leads to a really, really interesting and exciting final conclusion. The ending of this game is amazing.
I love the end of this game.
But El Presidio does feel a little deflating. I advise you, if you are the type of person like us who, when you get to that moment that, you've fallen into a rhythm, and then suddenly the adventure game changes and you're at this entirely new map that opens up and there's all these locations and all these people and all these new puzzles. And you're like, push through, because El Presidio has a lot of cool, valuable stuff to explore. And the ending is just so great that it's, even if you don't enjoy El Presidio, even if you get past that moment and find you still don't enjoy it, you'll love the ending. Yeah.
I feel like this happens so much in adventure games. Like, I think I threw out, when we last spoke about this, I threw out Grim Fandango because I loved Rubicava so much. I don't want to go anywhere else. Why would I want to go anywhere else when there's this really cool adventure game setting, that's going on? And I wonder if we dedicate kind of an episode to this phenomenon happens.
I don't know how people avoid it, right? Like, I don't know how you avoid doing it. How without making your game feel way too linear.
Here's an interesting thought. I think the Drifter did it. I think I didn't get completely engrossed in any one place. And I wonder if that's because the Drifter was so much more high octane. You're just moving. You're moving.
Maybe. I'll say the first place that we talked about this, though, was in the Drifter episode.
Drifter,
because it was when we got to the secret military base.
Right. No, you're right. I was and interestingly, I was thinking about the parts I liked a lot, and then I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
Oh yeah, the
right.
military base. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know how you would avoid it without your game. I mean, Rosewater's kind of encounter system, the road trip idea, is such a brilliant way to handle introducing new settings and new puzzles and new scenarios into your adventure game. Like, I really deeply loved what Grundislav did here.
I do too. I'm so impressed.
So Yeah, so I think that is, a way to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know that. But, again, even though he did it, he still fell into the trap right afterwards. So I don't know. I don't know.
Oh. Maybe that's just human psychology. Maybe it's just no matter what, we're going to get attached to certain play. I mean, I feel that way about some of my favorite books, right? Like I'll come across like my favorite part in a book and I'm like, oh, it's over. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's just the nature of it.
Yeah, I think that is very, very likely true. And again, like I think, it may be the case that you can't fully avoid that throughout your whole game while still introducing new elements to the game and keeping it fresh and having enough there to make it a full experience and a full adventure. But I don't know.
I'd like to hear from the listeners actually on games that they felt like were smooth, the whole way through, where you didn't feel attached to maybe one part more than another part.
Or like that didn't have this problem either way, that didn't feel so linear that it got redundant or that it got bland.
Yeah.
But didn't open up to this moment where you were like, okay, all right, well, I'm just going to save my game and shut it off for a little bit because I don't know if I want to do...
I know. It's so overwhelming.
I don't know if I want to go through this. Yeah, this feeling of overwhelm.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we get into like a mediocre and then a heavy, I think, spoiler territory, I think we should talk a little bit about some of the cool things about this game. For example, Phil plays a bunch of songs throughout this game that are incredible.
I'm so glad I've been learning Spanish because I understood them. It was like Phil was serenading me.
He plays songs in Spanish. He plays Spanish guitar several times throughout this game, and there's a couple musical sections. Is there two? Does he sing? He only sings one.
I think he sings one, but there are two little musical like interludes. Yeah.
Three. Because when he first gets the guitar, he does one.
Right. Yes.
He does one during one of the scripted, like the inevitable encounters. And he does one. And then it might be that same scene where he sings.
It might be, yeah. It might be the same thing. It's great. I really love it.
And you,
that's so interesting because you typically don't like it when like there's like a crappy guitar interlude. That's not this though. This is not a crappy guitar
this is great
interlude. Yeah.
No, this is incredible. I really loved this. What are some other things that like if somebody's like I want to hear more opinions, but I want zero. I don't want spoilers.
You don't want like story spoilers.
I don't want any deeper spoilers than you've already given. What are some other cool things that about this game?
I think that the unknowingly, right? I think the best thing I really like about this game is experimentation with the friendship mechanic.
Right.
It also has I don't quite know how to articulate this, but it has an interestingly classic feel about it in terms of adventure game, because these things are not exactly like the most deep things that one can encounter, right? These are kind of lighthearted quests. And it's just giving a lot of, what's a game that I like that it's kind of reminding me of? Actually, oh my God, you know what it gives? It gives a little bit Freddy Farkas, which is also a Frontier related game, but it's kind of similar in that you are kind of constantly encountering these different quests, which I feel, and they do it in Willy Beamish too. You have different quests that you go on, and it has just this very classic feel to me, but it's modern, it's modernized, and it works. And but my honestly, my favorite thing in my second playthrough was seeing how random I could get it and what I missed and what I could say, to my characters. Because they're not small little minor differences. They're these entire scenes. And I just think I think what's really nice is just the attention to detail to this game. It really, we say it a lot, and I probably say it more than Matt, but this is like, by definition, like grand adventure. You are you're traveling across country in a wagon, doing quests for people, doing main storyline, and you've got this goal, right, of finding a lost person and a lost stash. So without giving away, the story, I just think the kind of grandness of it, this like long-term, weeks-long adventure where you're connecting with people, it's just so good. Who cares about Dr. Clark when you've got this cool like adventure to go on,
I think that's true. I think there's a thing we haven't touched on very much yet, and that is the diversity of these characters. And
yes,
I'm going to have a little more to say about this in the spoiler territory, but I want to touch on it now in case somebody's going to turn it off. It's in case somebody doesn't want any spoilers, is going to turn it off. So the wagon driver, navigator, her name is Lola. She's a Black American.
Right.
Nadine Redbird is a Native American.
Mm-hmm.
Phil Marquez is a Latin American. Danny Luo, who I am not confident that I wrote his name down wrong or right, his actual name, but he has that is the name that is his like Americanized name. He has a name. He has another name. He is an Asian American.
Yeah.
Chinese, I believe.
Chinese, yes.
Yes, and he has a Chinese name. And then Harley Legere and Jake Ackerman are both white. Harley Legere is a woman. Jake's a man. I think this is important because it's this diverse group of people, all of whom existed in frontier America in the 19th century United States, on this journey of discovery along the frontier, right? And each of them are integral to this journey. They each have their own experiences and skills and personalities, some of which are derived from their nationalities, some of which are derived from their ethnicities and their cultures that contribute to successfully completing this journey, solving the puzzles that you encounter, solving the various problems you encounter. And I think that's true of frontier America, right?
Yeah.
This was a diverse world. It was a diverse country where it took the cultures and experiences of all these different people from across the world to build the frontier, to build America.
Right.
The America that we now live in. Some of them, it was a really horrible experience. Black Americans, the amount of infrastructure that they were forced to build as slaves is incalculable.
Right.
What would our country look like if Black Americans hadn't built that infrastructure? It's nearly impossible to say. Latin Americans were an incredibly important part of the American South, the building of the American South, and even still incredibly important part of the American labor force. And again, what would America look like without them?
Right.
And I don't know how many of our listeners know the story of the Chinese railroad workers, but we would not have the railroad system we have in the United States today without the brutal and exploited labor of Asian Americans in the 19th century.
Yeah, and in that way, because we were kind of talking, it's not that this game goes very deep with things. It's more of it's more of a celebration of the diversity and a celebration of what different people have brought to the country. It doesn't directly tackle like racial problems, though, I would say.
Okay.
Not
I
at least
agree.
not explicitly. It does a little bit in storyline, but is this realistic? Probably not.
I think. Sorry, I didn't mean to remember.
Oh, that's okay. I was just going to say it's maybe not the most, it doesn't go into detail of major hatred between people. It is mostly friendly and hopeful, I think.
So I agree in that one thing that Grundislav does not put in this world is, at least that I was able to see, is racism, right?
Hatred. Racism, hatred.
There's no cultural tapestry of racism in that in that social tapestry is what I'll say instead. There's no social tapestry of racism in this game. Nobody throws around racial slurs in this game. Nobody treats people differently because they are of a different color or race or ethnicity or because they are immigrants. That doesn't happen in this game. However, Phil's experience is built around the struggles he went through.
Right.
As a citizen of New Spain.
Right.
And the war that he's had to live through basically his entire life in this struggle for freedom.
Right.
Even in small things, like he is an explosives expert. And he's an explosives expert because he had to be as a general in a revolution, as a guerrilla general in like what essentially was likely a guerrilla army struggling against a much stronger, more powerful force.
Right.
Nadine Redbird, her entire story is based around losing her connection to her culture.
Right.
At a very young age. And then what draws her to us is the oppression of Native Americans, the violent oppression of Native Americans, right? Like we told you that story at the beginning of this podcast, the beginning of this whole segment. How we met Nadine Redbird was that the military commander was attacking the tribe that she was staying with.
Right.
Which turns out not to be her tribe, but we won't really get into that. And Danny, his entire character is built around this idea that he is the talent in his partnership with Jake Ackerman. And Jake Ackerman is consistently sort of using him and undervaluing him. And as a result, he has a deep lack of confidence in who he is.
Right. And I also think he has kind of a lack of maybe knowledge about his own culture, because throughout the game, he's kind of encouraged to go travel to China, to look back into those things, right? Like he was making mention of reinvigorating that interest,
And when we get to El Presidio, we find out that, well, a couple different times, we find out that he grew up rough because of his race, because he grew up in Chinatown. And then Lola, we meet, and she is basically homeless besides her wagon. And she's sleeping in the abandoned blacksmith shop.
Right.
And she is afraid to get close to any person. She has absolutely no trust of any other person.
Yeah.
Just the experience a lot of Black Americans in the 19th century in America. Right? So like, I do think he has included these cultural elements.
Right.
And again, very tangible historical elements.
Right. And respecting the struggle. There's no, like we said, there's no just blatant racism. But yes, they do go over the characters' struggles within their culture.
Yes. And there's one other strong parallel here that I will bring up in the spoiler section, because I can't without giving away the part of this story that is not as it seems.
Right.
But I do think that is worth noting when playing Rosewater, is that the diversity here is, I think, saying something really important about the strength that diversity brings.
Yes.
And about the birth of America, right? Like the building of America on the strength of that diversity.
Yes. Yeah,
and
I agree.
You can view this sort of thing that metaphors arise out of things, whether you intend them to or not, because when you're telling the truth is applied to multiple different situations, right?
Of course,
and I think you can view this journey across Vespuccia as a metaphor for the building of the American West.
Right.
And I think it's a very powerful one.
Yeah, I do too. I agree. And in that way, it is very celebratory, and you come to really, I think, connect with these characters because of it.
I agree. Yeah. I think that's really important. I'm going to pull the rug out of that later in the spoiler section.
Okay. Speaking of spoiler sections, we're going long here. Should we spit some facts?
Let's spit some facts. All right. If you don't want to hear any spoilers about this game, fuck off.
Wow.
Politely. I mean that respectfully. Hey, eggheads. We love you. Fuck off.
Fuck off.
If you don't want to hear spoilers. Hey, fuck off.
Thank you, Matt. All right, so I guess we're going to mention the biggest spoiler.
Yeah, do you want to?
I don't know if we're thinking of the same thing, but I'm thinking of the fact that Jake abandons us, even though this was his idea, his excursion. You know, we get into a situation where we are attacked by bandits, and Jake is like, nah. He abandons us. He abandons the party, and we actually go to El Presidio without him.
Yes.
Yeah.
So two things happen here. So first, Jake was lying to us the entire time.
Yes.
We were not after the Dr. Clark's treasure.
Right.
Jake had taken a contract from a wealthy oil corporation to find Dr. Clark and bring him to them. And he lied to us. He's planning, I don't know if he was planning on betraying us. If he and absconding with the money when they found Dr. Clark, or if he just thought we wouldn't go along with him,
right?
If we knew why, or if he was just trying to leave himself some options open by not being honest about it. It's hard to say. Kind of seems like he was going to ditch us in El Presidio, though. When we get attacked by some thugs, he decides it's too dangerous and he runs.
Right.
Depending on your friendship with Jake, since we're in spoiler territory here, that may be the last time you see Jake.
Right. He did come back for mine. And I'm assuming that's because I had a good enough friendship with him.
My first playthrough, he did not come back. My second playthrough, he did. And we won't tell. We're not going to spoil the very end, but man, it's a good moment.
Yeah, when he comes back, it's great. It's great. Yeah, I love it. Another thing that happens that we kind of discovered is vastly different is that a character can die, or a couple characters can die, or they might not, depending on your friendship with them, which is wild.
You lose a party member, so somebody gets shot here. There's a shootout, and somebody gets shot. Who was your first person shot?
Phil.
Me too.
And I haven't gotten to that place in my second playthrough, but I'm hoping Phil will survive this.
I thought that was scripted. I thought that was the only thing that happened until I saw that there are some achievements where Phil solves some puzzles.
Yeah.
That happened later, and I was like, what? And when I played through a second time, Phil didn't get shot. You want to know who did?
Nadine.
Nadine got shot and survived.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
So nobody dies in that instance.
In that scenario, yeah.
In my third playthrough, guess who got shot?
Danny,
and he dies.
Oh, don't like that.
Yeah, so it's really tragic no matter what, right? Like no matter what happens here, it's really tragic. But so we don't know if it's like I have a couple theories here. Number one, I have a feeling there's a possibility that it's random, absolutely random.
Right.
My number two theory is that it is dependent on your average friendship with the entire party.
Yeah. Okay.
And if your friendship is low, Danny dies. If your friendship is medium, Phil dies. And if your friendship is high, you're basically headed towards a golden ending, right? You're headed towards the ending where everything works out for everybody. And so that, I don't think it was, because I don't think it was I don't think it was random.
Right.
I don't think it was just a coincidence that in my playthrough where I had gotten everybody to the highest friendship I could was the one where, again, Jake returns and nobody dies.
Right.
That would be a very strange thing that would have been a very fortuitous bit of serendipity, right?
Right.
And I don't think, and the saddest possible person to die is Danny. And so I don't think it is. So the coincidence that Danny dies in the playthrough where I have the lowest friendship with everybody.
Yeah.
It's also would be a wild coincidence.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I definitely think there's a mechanic that drives some of these things. Although I do wonder, because we had a difference of gameplay or game story that does feel random.
Do you want to tell him?
I won't go into hyper specific, but in Matt's game, 2 of the characters hooked up. And I had no idea what he was talking about.
I assumed that it would happen every time. So it's like, and it's subtle a little bit.
Yeah,
It's subtle enough that I think a person, probably not Rose's, probably not me, but a person in the world could have missed it. Sure. And so I was like, Roses, did you not pick up on this?
No, it just didn't happen because I played it again and it didn't happen. So I had to look it up and I'm like, no, this did not happen in my playthrough. It seems random and I don't know if it's random or if it's based on your friendship score. No idea.
The only time it didn't happen for me was in the low friendship score playthrough. So
okay,
I'm going to spoil something else. Okay. After you beat this game, you get New Game Plus. And that is how I know about these friendships. That is how I know what friendship levels I was at with these people. Right. New Game Plus has a little menu. If you press Control R at any point, you can see what friendship levels you are with people. So in my best playthrough, people were at like Lola was at 28. Mm-hmm. Jake was, I think, at 23. Danny was at 26. Nadine was at 25. And I think so was Phil. They were, and 28 is off the scale. Like when somebody's at 25, it looks like the scale is filled. So I was pretty surprised that Lola got up to 28. I don't know if it's up to 30. I don't know if it's like out of a possible 30, but man, yeah, it was, they were about as high as I think I could have possibly gotten them. Yeah. And that was where I got the best ending. And that's where, again, and in that one, like in my first playthrough, there's 2 characters hooked up, and that's the one where nobody died. I
like how you're just like, Roses, did you not pick up on it? Of course I would pick up on it.
Well, that's
I want all
surprised.
The characters to hook up. Yeah, I know.
Now, my bad playthrough, everybody was negative.
Oh, no.
The one that was hardest to get negative because she likes grumpiness is Lola. And so when you're making everybody else mad, she's
She
like
likes
happy about
that.
it. So
That's so
she was
funny.
hovering around like 2 and 1 for so long, and then it was like finally after her encounter, I got her to -1. But god damn, that was rough. I got everybody to negative. And that's the one where Danny got shot and died. And I don't know I haven't gotten to the ending yet, but some other interesting stuff happens. So if you have super high friendship with everybody, things open up that weren't there before. So for example, in that Wildcat, the postman scene, you can poison the Wildcat and put it to sleep.
I did not know that. That's very interesting.
Nadine has a herbal poultice.
Okay.
Let's see, in the moving pictures thing, if you have low friendship, there's a character you literally cannot convince to do the thing.
Oh, I convinced all of them.
Yeah, you cannot.
Nice.
You don't have those dialogue options.
Right. Okay.
There's if you have low friendship with everybody, she just starts saying ruder things, and again, she's just mean, and some puzzle options just aren't available. And
amazing.
If you have better friendship, you have more options. Like there's things you can do that even in my relatively good playthrough, my first time through,
yeah,
I was like, oh, I didn't know you could do this. Because the option just wasn't there.
That's so interesting. I don't have it in me to play like that. I just don't. Yeah. I don't want my character to be mean and rude.
It was hard. So in the poisoning. Well, okay. So there's some things that you can do. There's some horrible things you can do. So in the one with Danny. Or sorry, the one with the one with Danny. The bad excursion is where a kid is climbing on a tree branch breaks, he falls into the water, Danny dives in to save him.
Yeah.
You can force, if you ask him what to do, and he's like, I don't know, throw me something. And then you can make Jake run back to the wagon.
Oh my god.
And Jake's like, are you sure? It doesn't seem like we have that much time.
Yeah.
And you're like, do it. And he does, and by the time he gets back, you throw the rope, and you lose the kid, and the kid goes flying down the river.
My god.
There's a little moment of dialogue left, like right afterwards, where Jake is like, thank goodness his parents were camping down the river, and they caught him before he drowned.
I was going to say, like, did this kid just die?
But I thought that for like a full minute. I was laughing so hard. Like, oh my god, they killed the kid. All right, so Cormac, when he's dangling from the oil rig, you can before you're supposed to lasso him, pull him closer to you, and then have Jake throw a knife. You have Danny lasso him, pull him closer. You have Jake throw a knife, and then it frees him, and then you save him.
Yeah,
you can make Danny shoot the rope out when he's still just hanging there.
Oh my god!
And then he just falls into the pit. Also, if you get Harley to throw the knife, it lodges in his foot or in his leg. So you can stab him in the leg and then drop him down an oil well. Okay, all right, some more things. So Jake, you can poison him. You can just say, go ahead and drink the water, and he'll drink the water. And then you can walk over to him and he's like, what happened? You could say, your stupidity got us robbed.
Yeah.
And then Nadine comes in and she's like, what's wrong? Is he okay? And you can say, and she's like, I can do something to ease his pain. And you can say to Nadine, save the supplies. He needs to learn a lesson.
Yes. And I accidentally did that in my it was an accident. I just took too much time. And I felt so terrible. I had to, I did actually choose just don't treat him. He needs to learn a lesson. And he doesn't die or anything like that. He comes around. But I just felt so horrific about it that I restored it and fixed it.
In the Captain Boylan thing, there's that puzzle that you were talking about, that intricate puzzle where you have to go around learning things and then you have to role play.
Yep.
You can pretty much right away, as soon as you find his diary, as soon as you find the names of all his crewmen, you can say to Nadine, all right, I'm ready.
Oh, God.
And she'll say, are you sure? And you can say, yup. And then none of your crew transform into his crew.
Okay.
He's confused about everything everybody's saying.
No.
You don't end up on his ship because it's like if you've played the game, you know what I'm talking about. If not, whatever. You don't, he doesn't, and then he's not okay.
Oh, no.
And you just say, okay, I guess it failed. And then you leave. And then in the morning, he's like, that was a horrible night's sleep.
Oh, no. Oh, that's so crappy.
So I'm just telling you about the ones that we brought up in this episode. Yeah. There's so many more that are all just so bad. You can just be an absolute piece of shit. And
oh my gosh.
It's funny and horrible basically every time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can't even bring myself to do such a thing. Mm-hmm. I don't want to mess with somebody's PTSD and just confuse it. Oh my gosh.
You know, here's the bad thing. Okay, so there's a thing that you can do when you reach El Presidio, which is you get a quest. One of the ways to try and break into this club where you need to go to try to find Bennett Clark is you have to, and this involves a gears puzzle. You guys know those gears puzzles where it's like
where all the cogs have to fit to get something moved. Yeah, no, we can do without those. Honestly,
yeah, those can go away forever. Yeah. They're the other slider puzzle, basically. Like they're just like a slider puzzle, on the same level. You put together a watch, and then the Chinese underground of El Presidio use it to make a bomb, and you deliver a bomb to the Union headquarters. Mm-hmm. Now, if you have Phil with you, he can disarm the bomb. If you have Nadine with you, she's like, I have a bad feeling about that, and you can go back and warn them. On my bad playthrough, I would love to blow up the Union building.
Oh, dear.
But Danny's dead, so I can't.
Oh, okay. Dang.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like Grundislav was like, look, if it is based on your total, like your average score and the lowest score, maybe there's a little bit of Grundislav being like, look, don't be as horrible as a person.
I know.
Possibly.
He's I gotta put my foot down somewhere here, guys.
Man. But I do want to say, sorry, I know I've been talking for a while, but I do want to say my extension of that metaphor is just this idea that Jake lies to you.
Yes.
Jake lies to this diverse group of people, and he tricks them into crossing the country to chase a fortune that doesn't exist.
Right.
Instead, they're serving the interests of a rich oil magnate at the behest of the only white man in the group.
Right.
If we are to follow this metaphor of the diversity of human beings that helped build America and that journey across the West as a metaphor for that building of America, I think there's something poignant to be said about Black and Asian and Latin and Native Americans helping to build a country based on a lie that at the end they will find their fortune. They will find a treasure. And instead, working for the interests of the already rich to build a country that... How many people did colonial Americans trick into building a country that was designed to harm them?
Right. Yeah.
building a machine specifically that was specifically going to be weaponized against them, the builders.
Yeah.
And, while the weaponization doesn't happen in this metaphor, I think just this idea of tricking diverse people into chasing their fortune across the West, across the, undiscovered frontier or unsettled frontier, when really they were secretly following corporate interests, it really rounds that metaphor out in a way that I found very poignant and I got a lot of meaning out of.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like I didn't deep dive into that as much as you did prior to speaking about it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. I do see it that way. And I do see it as kind of a celebration of diversity working together. Because that is the best way to work and build something. But yeah, no, I totally get where you're coming from with that. It does feel like a more lighthearted romp. Mm-hmm. But if you look into it, yeah, absolutely.
Well, it makes that betrayal hit a lot harder. And, and I think it is a lighthearted romp because you're right. It is a celebration, but there is a dark side to it, right?
Yeah.
Just like the Wild West is fun. It is a fun setting. Yeah. The history of the Wild West is fun. There's so many cool things that happened in Frontier America. There's so many crazy characters and interesting vignettes in the history of Western America. And yet there's this really dark side that mostly fell upon people of color, the non-white Americans. And I think both things can happen. And like you were saying, your brain didn't go there when you were playing. I think there is, just like, I don't know Grundislav's intentions in writing, but I think there are these things that are passively communicated and passively absorbed.
Yeah.
That whether or not you're reading it with the language that I'm using.
Yeah.
Or whether Grundislav was writing it with the language of metaphor that I'm using, that is still being communicated from him to us. Well, from them, he had a co-writer in this game.
Yeah.
From them to us, just based on a shared understanding of truth. I mean, like that's semiotics, right? Where we always speak in symbols, whether we want to or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to interpret it how we interpret it.
Yes.
But yeah, I obviously we can't speak on Francisco's intentions, but I think it is so well done that it kind of gives us these ideas to ponder on in the first place.
Yeah. Again, metaphors aren't always intentional, but they shine through no matter what. They shine through anyway, right?
Yeah.
Now that since we're in this spoiler section, before we start the descent, what else is there? Anything else you definitely want to talk about that you couldn't talk about when we weren't spoiling?
I don't think so. I think we spoiled. I think we definitely spoiled some stuff. I don't even want to spoil the very, very end if Jake comes back to your party, because it's such a cool thing. So I'm going to keep that under wraps.
And there's we can't spoil this whole game.
Right.
There are so many different things you can do that we didn't even allude to.
Right. And I'm sure there are things that we have no idea about.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially me. I'm still only doing this for a second time, so I don't even know what to expect. But yeah, I'm glad it's so replayable and delightful and surprising.
The one thing I'll say about replaying is you do really have to just click through so much of Act 1.
That's true. Yes, there's going to be some backtracking for sure.
And there's some things you can't skip, like Phil's song with vocals.
Right.
Or Jake's Wild West show.
I was going to say the Wild West show too. Yeah.
So, and Jake's Wild West show, you have to either cheer, say nothing, applaud, or boo. Or heckle, I mean.
Yeah, heckle,
Man,
yeah.
So funny heckling.
I couldn't do it. I'm just like, absolutely not.
And he remembers you if you heckle.
He remembers, yeah.
He points it out when he meets you. Man, it's just so impressive. The clockwork behind this game is unbelievably impressive.
Yeah. It's so much more than I thought it would be. It's very similar to how I felt about when we played Dreams in the Witch House, where I was expecting a certain kind of adventure game.
Yeah.
But what I got were all kinds of different mechanics, and I feel that way about Rosewater. I was kind of delighted, actually, when I got into it.
I knew I would like this game. I did not realize how much I would like this game. Even when I got to Act 2, and I was like, it went from I really like this game to I love this game.
Right.
It wasn't until I realized the replayability and then started trying out some of those things that it went from I love it to this is going to be part of our Game of the Year discussion.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely agreed.
This is, so, we've talked about the bulk of it, but this is, everybody, brace yourselves, this game's going to come back up on this podcast.
Yeah, probably. Hands down.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Well, Roses, thank you so much for talking about this game with me. We clearly had a lot to say.
Thank you for encouraging both of us to really sit down and really play with it. So, sometimes these longer adventure games can be a little daunting. We all have schedules, we all have limited time, but I think another thing is you gotta treat yourself to something like this every now and then.
Yeah.
You have to allow yourself to really get into something.
And I'll say, not even just treat and allow. I think it is valuable to force ourselves to undertake things like a big novel.
Yes.
Right? To sometimes say, you might be worried about your Goodreads score. And you might be like, well, I have to read a bunch of short novels. Or I want to read as many novels as I can. So I'm going to read 3 200-page ones. It is important to sometimes be like, no, I'm going to fucking sit down with a 600-page novel. Yeah. And I'm going to read it because it is going to bring so much value to my life. And there's a value, not even just that it's going to be good. I think there's a value in dedicating yourself to a singular piece of art for a longer time.
I do too. Yeah. And I don't want to say I forced myself to do it, but there was extra encouragement needed to really sit down and do it. Even though I was waffling,
It did feel like I agree. It felt like taking on a novel.
Yes. Yeah.
Again, I knew I would like it. I knew I'd get a lot out of it. But it was like, do I really want to start a novel today?
Yes. Yeah. This happens to me all the time, especially since we started doing this podcast where you'll say, I think you would like this, Roses. And I'll be like, oh, I super don't want. And then I end up loving it. And it becomes my identity for a week.
Well, that was Rosewater. Thank you guys so much for listening. Next week...
Ooh,
all right, I guess. All right, here's what I'll say. Next week, our intention is to play and talk about Strange Antiquities.
Correct.
I don't know that that'll work out.
I don't either, but I so hope either way, it's going to happen soon-ish. Mm-hmm. If not next week.
we will definitely talk about it after it's out and everything, but I just don't know if we are going to get copies of Strange Antiquities in time.
Right.
We are waiting on review copies, and I honestly I don't know if we're going to get pre-release copy, like early access copies or not. I don't know. If we don't, Strange Antiquities is going to be a couple weeks away.
Yeah.
And I don't know what we're talking about next week. If we do, hey, Strange Antiquities. That'll be fun, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Stoked for it.
Me too. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for listening and sticking with us. And what else where do you want to send the people, Roses? I
want to send the people, firstly, to our email. Have any questions, pet peeves, suggestions? You want to share your favorite food? Email us at mattandroses@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram at Save Your Game Podcast. Yes.
Before the next, we need to bring this up immediately.
Okay.
This can't wait until our next Q&A episode. And Alex emailed us.
Okay.
To tell us that while he was at his church this week, while they were at their church this week, they found on the floor.
Oh my God.
A loose crank in the actual world. They sent us a picture.
Amazing.
I'll see if we could get permission to repost this picture.
Yeah, but if we can put it on Instagram or something, that'd be so funny. Oh my gosh. It happened. In the history of ever. The only time it's ever going to happen. It happened.
It's a loose crank on the floor.
Loose crank.
So yeah, email us, mattroses@gmail.com.
Yes.
Where else do you want to send them?
Let's send them to your other podcast, Mutant Menace. I'm sure you'll link that in the show notes. Or you could go to my YouTube channel where I talk about stuff.
Yeah, please do.
You like stuff? Then you're going to like it.
And we know you like stuff. Don't fucking lie to us.
Yeah. I like stuff. We talk about it all the time. Matt, any parting words?
Well, yeah, I mean, I do want to send them to our Instagram, Save Your Game Podcast, on Instagram. And then, man, there's only one more parting word I want to say, and it is hot damn. What's your parting word?
Well, I'll be. There's only a few amount of people who are going to get that, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, so also podcast is art.
And artists suffer.